Just a reminder. Gotta do that. Just a reminder to turn your cell phone to vibrate off or mute, or whatever's going on there. And we'll start with an opening statement from Pat.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for all being here as we discuss yesterday's announcement of leadership change within our football program. Let me begin first by saying James Franklin is a tremendous man, husband, father, mentor to countless student athletes, and a good friend who has always carried himself with dignity and represented Penn State with absolute class. Beyond the wins and the accolades, James has been a trusted ambassador for this university and a friend of the Penn State community. We are all incredibly fortunate to have had James Franklin lead our football program for over a decade, and we will be forever grateful to him and his family. We wish them nothing, and I mean this, I wish them nothing but success in the next chapter of their lives. That said, at Penn State, we hold all our programs to the highest standards in our shared pursuit of excellence. My job is to evaluate everything and make hard decisions for what is in the best interests of our athletes, our program, and our department. Football is our backbone. We have invested at the highest level. With that comes high expectations. Ultimately, I believe a new leader can help us win a national championship, and now is the right time for this change. Terry Smith will serve as our interim head coach. Terry's a proud Penn Stater. He helped build this program as both a player and a coach, and he understands what it means to wear the blue and white. I am confident, and I can tell you, he will pour his heart and soul into this role, and our players and fans deserve nothing less. The search. We're going to continue to conduct a national search. Our next coach will be someone who embodies everything Penn State stands for: integrity, accountability, toughness, humility, and an elite motivator. We'll find a coach who can achieve excellence at the highest level, doing it with confidence and conviction. Recruiting will always be a pillar here. We want someone who will attract elite talent, retain players in the NIL era, and make Penn State a destination. This is also about the modern era of college football. Our next coach needs to be able to maximize elite level resources, attack the transfer portal, and develop at the highest level. This person has to fit Penn State. They need to represent the toughness, the blue-collar work ethic, and the class that defines this institution. We want someone who honors our tradition but isn't afraid to evolve, someone who understands the weight of we are and leads us forward with a vision of championships. The right coach will rebuild the unity and pride that defines this historic program. And they will ignite this fan base around a shared belief that we're capable of greatness and we're going to do it the right way. And we are the best program in the country. We have made significant investments in this program. We compete in the best conference in the country. And we have the best fans and alums in the country. With a renovated stadium on the horizon, I have nothing but confidence in our future and in our ability to attract an elite leader for our Penn State football program. And finally, to our fans, alumni, and community, we all need each other. We all need your support. And all our focus, let me repeat, all our focus should be around the young men in Lash right now who wear the blue and white. We have a lot of football left. They deserve every ounce of our support. At that, I'll open it up for questions.
Use the raise your hand feature. We're going to start with Ralph Russo and then go to Rich Scarcella.
Hey, Pat, thanks for doing this. Can you get into at all the structure of the buyout and how it could be paid out with James?
No, I know that was going to be the first question. And look, I'm not going to get into the financials. What I will tell you about the buyout, this is an athletics issue. This is not the institution's issue. So we, in athletics, are covering all the costs. I just want that to be known. So we are absorbing all the costs associated with this. As it gets to structural, how it's paid, I'm not going to get into the details of that, and I'm not going to get into the financials either.
We'll go to Rich Scarcella, and then we'll go to Mike Gross.
Thanks, Chris. Pat, when did you reach this decision? And considering your relationship with James, how difficult was it?
Rich, I appreciate that. You know, I'm going to be very transparent with y'all. This was extremely, extremely difficult. It's been a very difficult 48 hours. I felt after Saturday and sitting down and looking at everything that where we were and what was in the best interest of my kids, my student athletes, and my kids, meaning you guys know I call our athletes kids, my kids, and where the program was going, that this time we just had to make the hard decision. And look, as all of you know as leaders, when you lead an organization like this, when you've made the decision, you have to make the decision with a whole heart and with conviction. And so, you know, I was going to sleep on it on Sunday, and but I knew it was the right course of action for us as a program, and more importantly for the team. So that's kind of how it transpired. You know, you take data, right? This is not a 3-game thing. This is really diving into where we were as a program. What is the trajectory of this program? And you all know, and I'm not shy to admit it, I'm here to win national championship. And I believe our fans deserve that. And I wake up every day trying to achieve that goal. So, long-winded answer, Rich. It was kind of on a Sunday. Hey, this is probably the time.
We'll take 2 more from Zoom. We'll go Mike Gross and then Brandon Marcel.
Hi, Pat. Thanks for your time. Wondering about doing this 6 weeks into the season.
Yep.
Making this move in the middle of the season. And particularly since you used the phrase in your opening statement, rebuild the unity and pride. Had this gotten to a point where you're looking at the football program and saying, this is untenable going forward? And what led you to that conclusion other than what's on the scoreboard?
Yeah, no, I think, Mike, you're right. You when you make these types of decisions, and we make big decisions all the time. I make decisions that no one really knows about our athletes and where we're going and all that. But anything this significant just doesn't come on a whim. And you have to have scenarios and we do. How is this going to go? What if this happened? But looking at where the program was and where it is and where we want to be as a program, I just felt there was no other course. And I felt it was time. Now remember, we're in a different era of football. And there's a lot of things that come with this new era and transfers and everything. And so that probably was down the road in the thought process. But I did feel like for our student athletes and the staff and the program and our fans, there wasn't a choice. There wasn't more. And by the way, when you make that decision, you make the call. I have to be the leader. I have to make hard decisions. And so that's why I felt like it was appropriate.
Go Brandon Marcello, and then we'll come into the room for Mark Brennan.
Pat, thank you for doing this today. I was wondering, across college sports, we've seen buyouts and guaranteed contracts kind of exploding, and the money continues to rise. I was wondering, how will you kind of approach that when you go about looking at a new coach and hiring a new coach, especially with athletic departments across the country, and including your own, having to mind their money even more closely these days?
No, I think it's a great question, Brandon. You're right. When all these contracts were signed, the use of the money going to rev share and all the other pieces that are involved, you have to process the financials in such a different light. And so, quite honestly, when you get into a search and you start to have those hard conversations, hey, what do you envision this program? How do you envision this program looking? How do you envision winning a national championship? I mean, the facts are the facts. Like, you got to recruit at a high level. And now the transfer portal, you got to be able to recruit in the transfer portal at a high level. And so how do you use your resources in the right way in building a roster that compete for a national championship, Brandon? I am very blessed, and this, I don't have anything to do with this, I don't believe, to be the athletic director at Penn State. We are blessed because of our fans, our alums, and the support we receive, that we can do more than most, and that we have elite resources here. And so that allows us to be able to have real conversations and put our resources to the test in the best direction.
Go Mark Brennan, then we'll go Jake Trotter.
Pat, obviously recruiting ramifications from this. What are you doing you personally to mitigate what's been going on, and how are you discussing with Terry and the staff how to handle the situation?
Look, none of that is surprising, right? And by the way, I mean, the recruiting world has changed. I mean, student athletes are flipping and going everywhere. And look, I'm not going to be naive. I probably know that every Power 4 conference, every Power 4 team has reached out to our student athletes already. I'm not naive to say that that's where the industry is, but what I will tell you is Terry and I talked, and one of the reasons why I was comfortable in doing this now is because of Terry. Terry's an elite recruiter. Terry has relationships with those kids, and Terry and I first, we talked about many things, but that is a part of it, and we've got to continue. I think what we will show is that we're big. We're such a big and historical program that we are going to weather the storm. We have weathered far worse than this. And so I think once Terry gets settled in, now let's just talk about me. And our coaches know this. I'll talk to any recruit, whether it's fencing, football, wrestling, basketball, volleyball, I don't care. And I will continue to be very active in that process. I will say right now for me, I'm just going to be very honest. I am less worried about 27 kids and more worried about my kids in the locker room right now. That's my focus. Terry has a great staff that he will lead to deal with the recruiting issues. None of it is surprising. But right now, I want to make sure that we're prepared to go and get after Iowa.
Jake and then Bob.
Yeah, Pat, you said this wasn't a three-game thing, but if 3 weeks ago you're in the top 5, a few months ago you're a player or two away from the national championship. So when did you first begin to think that this might be a possibility, and then how much of 1-18 versus top 10 Big Ten opponents played into it?
Yeah, and it's a good question. Like, in this role as athletic directors and CEOs, you have to be ready for anything, right? Did I expect to have to walk up those stairs yesterday at Lash Building and talk to James like I did and have that conversation? No. But we're built, or you should be built, ready to handle what adversity is coming and what you believe is the right thing for the program. I weigh everything when I make a decision. The PhD nerd in me is like, I do data, I do analytics, I look at everything. And when you start to look at where we're going, and yes, how this year had been playing out, all those things you have to take into consideration. We're all humans. James Franklin's a human being. It's a job he loved. And people can say what they want about James, but James, it's a small world we have, and we're all friends. And so you cannot make decisions of this magnitude lightly. So to say, Well, we lost to Oregon, then we lost to UCLA. No, it's about where are we as a program? Where are we going? How do I give my student athletes the best chance to win? How do I continue to build this to a place that we are the best program in the country? That's the motivation. And so as you start to put all those things together, you got to make the call. And that's where we were.
So you were prepared, expecting.
You always have to be prepared. You have to be prepared for everything. And so, yeah, I mean, that's the nature of the business.
But
All of that plays into it.
yeah.
Everything.
Jake, we need to move on. Bob Flounders and then Allie.
Hi, Pat.
Hey,
How are you doing?
I'm great.
I know clearly it's an emotional time for you. You referenced the fact that the athletes are your kids, and there's no question that you're always around the Penn State athletic teams, especially the football program.
Yep.
One of your kids' career came to an end at the end of this game. I was just going to ask you your thoughts on Drew Allar, his injury, what he's meant to Penn State, and to just your thoughts on what he's done.
Yeah, it's hard for me not to get emotional about that. But he's just an amazing kid. I mean, I don't know what else to say. He's been through a lot. And he is that. He's a kid. And I think to see someone who's gone through a lot at a young age, and anyone who ever doubts that young man's commitment to Penn State and Penn State football, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Sorry, I can't believe I'm getting that emotional, but Drew's one hell of a young man. And he puts up with a lot of crap. And I get it. The NIL era, he's still a kid. And I can't have there's not a negative word that comes up when I think of Drew. I apologize. But you got to understand, these kids work so hard, and they love Penn State so much. And I get to see them in a different way than you all do. I get to see them as, like I said, my children. And so much bigger than, like, how many touchdowns you throw. I get it. Like, look, I'm not trying to, like, lie to y'all. Like, we all know we want to win. He wants to win in the worst way. He's working his hardest to do that. And to see it end that way, you never want that. No matter the outcome of the games, I want every one of our athletes to finish everything they start in life and in games. And he's going to be an incredible pro football player. He's going to be an incredible ambassador for this program. And I got to be honest, the fact that he's stuck with us is pretty awesome. And I tell all our kids every time I'm going to have their back every second of the day, and I will never stop doing that. He's faced a lot of adversity here, and I love the kid, and I love him, and he'll be great for us right now. He's going to be great for Grunk and giving him, I mean, he works hard. He's a smart football player, and he has an incredibly bright future playing ball at the highest level. And sorry, yeah, that's my take on Drew.
Last two, Allie Berube, and then we'll go to Tyler.
Hey, Pat. You talked about
sorry.
weathering the storm, and this isn't the worst one that Penn State has endured, but the fan base was pretty divided, both before the announcement of firing James Franklin and after. How does this fan base come back together when it feels like it's at a fever pitch, all of the noise outside of what's going on?
I think we got to be steady. I think we have been built. We'll look at. I'm not. Penn State's built for stuff like this. We have to come together. That is the unity. We are a strong force. We're the most powerful department and university in the country. We stick together through this. It's okay. I don't know about your family, but my family argues all the time. I had my two brothers in this, and that happens. But we're going to do it with I would hope, with class and dignity and get around one simple thing. The young men in that locker room. You can hate me, you can hate James, but like Drew, rally around them. They deserve it. That's who Penn State is. That's who we are, and I believe in my heart of hearts that will continue to be what drives us to where we're going to end up.
Last question to Tyler Donahue.
Hey, Pat, we appreciate the transparency this morning.
yeah.
Back here.
Sorry.
Yep. You mentioned Terry Smith and what he brings to this role. You mentioned the national search for your next coach. Could those two things become intertwined? Is Terry Smith going to be under consideration to become the next full-time head coach at Penn State?
Absolutely. Everybody's under consideration. And I'm going to help Terry do everything he can to run the table. But yes, he will be considered a candidate.
All right. Thank you very much, Pat.
I appreciate y'all.
We'll have Terry down here in a minute.
Have you heard of Wave Fruit Farm? It's this great farm market bakery and cafe. You can shop with them either at their farm in Port Matilda or downtown State College.
No way!
Yes, Wave Fruit Farm. They have all sorts of seasonal fruits and veggies.
Way cool!
No, Wave Fruit Farm. But anyway, you should visit their bakery and cafe. They serve amazing food all day.
Way!
Fruit Farm!
In football and in finance, having a strong game plan makes all the difference. AJ Freedom Financial helps individuals build personalized financial strategies that align with their goals, timelines, and risk tolerance. From investment guidance and retirement planning to 401k rollovers, HSA assistance, and legacy and wealth strategies, AJ Freedom Financial offers thoughtful, one-on-one support backed by industry experience and a commitment to transparency. Whether you're starting to invest, planning for retirement, or you simply want a second look at your financial approach, AJ Freedom Financial is here to help you make informed, confident decisions. Schedule a no-obligation consultation today at www.ajffi.com. Call 866-383-6899 or email info@ajffi.com. Again, that's ajffi.com. Call 866-383-6899 or email info@ajffi.com. AJ Freedom Financial, helping Nittany Lions fans plan for what's next. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Gradient Securities, LLC. Arden Hills, Minnesota, 866-991-1539. Member FINRA, SIPC. Gradient Securities, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisor, offers investment advisory services under the DBA of Gradient Wealth Management. Gradient Securities, LLC, and its advisors do not render tax, legal, or accounting services. Insurance products and services offered through AJ Freedom Financial. AJ Freedom Financial and Freedom Financial Insurance, LLC are not affiliated with Gradient Securities, LLC.
All right, appreciate everyone for joining us for Coach Smith's press conference. We're going to start with an opening statement from Coach, and then we'll go to Zoom for a few questions, and then we'll go questions in the room.
Good afternoon. First off, I would like to thank Coach Franklin for an incredible 11-plus years of service, dedication to this program, to our student athletes. I've known Coach a long time. He brought me here. You know, we entered this year in year 12 together. I learned so much from him. As a parent, a father, a coach, how to run a world-class program. It's a tremendous opportunity for me to have worked with him. I'm fortunate that I played for Coach Paterno, and now I play for another very successful coach here at Penn State, in Coach Franklin. As for me, I appreciate the opportunity from Pat Kraft and administration that they entrust in me to lead this program forward. Penn State holds a dear place in my heart. I'm a third-generation Penn Stater. My dad sits up top. He's a 68 grad. I'm a 91 grad. My son's a 07 grad. My daughter graduated here recently. I call this place home. I love this place. I love the blue and the white. I'm proud to be sitting in front of you. For our program, we need to stick together, stay focused, keep the standard the standard. Nothing changes when it comes to the expectation, as Pat alluded to earlier. We need to get back to enjoying ball, being tough, gritty, and passionate. Our players and staff will respond with great energy this week as I'm excited for the opportunity to lead everyone in the Lash building. The player, staff, and myself are going to continue to represent Penn State with the pride. We will continue to do it the right way. With that, I'll open up to questions.
All right, we're going to start with Zoom. Let's go to Rich Scarcella, followed by Johnny McGonigal.
Thanks, Greg. Terry, thank you. Appreciate this. Can you describe your reaction when you learned about Pat's decision? How did you find out? And have you spoken to James since?
Yeah, I found out Sunday afternoon. We had a team meeting scheduled at 1:45. I probably found out at 1:20-ish. I was stunned, like most people in the building, most people around the country. I was fortunate to speak with Coach Franklin last night. It was a heartfelt conversation. I just wanted to express my gratitude and thankfulness for him and all that he's done for me, my family, and this program. He took us out of a dark era and got us to be a relevant program again. And we don't take that for granted.
Let's go to Johnny McGonigal and then Devin Jackson.
Terry, thanks for the time. Over the last 24 hours, we've seen players, past and present, sharing their emotions, their feelings on James's firing on social media and otherwise. How would you describe the temperature of the team and of the locker room and how you guys move forward from that?
Yeah, the temperament is, there's guys that are shocked that it happened. We didn't anticipate this. The staff, we didn't anticipate this. But it has happened. And so, every person that's in the Lash football building, James Franklin brought them there. From the coaches to the staff to all the personnel in the building. He brought every one of us there. So there's an attachment to him. There's a sense of loyalty to him. Now it's my job to press us forward. It's my job for us to be where our feet are, be grounded right here, and be able to represent Penn State in a proud fashion. We've got to get our grittiness back, our toughness, our swag, and most importantly, we got to go have fun, enjoy playing the game of football.
We'll go to Devin Jackson with the Philadelphia Inquirer, and then we'll go to Mark Brennan.
Hey, Terry, thanks for doing this. Just wanted to ask you, obviously, about the recruiting front. You do a lot of things for Penn State in the recruiting aspect. Now that you're the interim coach, how will that, if any, affect what you do for the recruiting, and how do you guys approach it now with James gone?
Yeah, I've got my work cut out for me. I've probably recruited almost 3/4 of the roster. And a lot of the committed guys, I recruited those guys. We're just going to continue to press forward. We're going to continue to recruit. We're going to continue to get in front of these guys. One thing that hasn't changed is Penn State is Penn State. We all know the expectation of being here. Pat made it clear we're going to be successful. We have always been successful. It is the only way we know. And so we're going to recruit the young men that want to be here. And when we suit up come 2026 with a new roster, they're going to be equipped and ready to go. So recruiting is going to work as is. We're just going to keep our tedious approach and keep contacting those guys and try to get them on campus to visit and just to remind them how beautiful of a place this is.
We'll go to questions in the room over here on the right, Mark, and then we'll go to Bob.
Terry, over here, you mentioned that you have a lot on your plate right now, understandably, but do you view this in any way as a chance to prove that you could be the guy who is the ultimate full-time head coach at Penn State?
Yeah, I'm thankful that Pat and administration chose me. They could have chose anyone in the building. I'm just thankful. You know, I love Penn State, and all I want to do is help Penn State be successful and win. All right, I'm sitting in this press conference because we didn't win enough. And whatever I can do to help this place win is what I'm willing to do. I would be remiss to say if the opportunity didn't put itself out there for me to be the head coach permanently, absolutely, I would love that opportunity.
In the front, Bob.
Hi, Terry. How you doing?
Good.
You were the corners coach a couple of days ago. Now you're the interim head coach. I'm just wondering, you haven't had a lot of time. Are there going to be any staff changes, or will you change up maybe any responsibilities on the staff to get things more streamlined for the second half of the season?
Good to see you, Bob. Not immediately, other than have to replace my cornerback position. Jordan Lucas will take that role. There will be no other staff changes immediately. This first week, I want to get my feet grounded underneath me and understand all the roles of being a head coach and the CEO of this program. I will take a deeper look in each day as to where I see that I can help us improve.
Let's go over here. Neil.
Hey, Terry. Can you say how James took it, and has he had an opportunity, or will he be able to talk to the team? How's that work?
Yeah, so fortunately for him, he was able to address the team. He let them know. And as you could imagine, it was emotional. Those kids love him. You know, he went into each and every one of their homes and brought them here. And their families entrusted him. So there was a lot of emotion in that meeting. James is a great guy, man. He's done so much for all of us that we're thankful. We're going to miss him. You know.
Let's go to John.
Hi, Terry. You mentioned the loyalty to James aspect of this. Was there any hesitation on your part to take the interim role out of loyalty to James, and what was his reaction when you told him that you were the interim head coach?
James has always told me that if something happened to him, he would recommend that I be the next person to lead. So he understood. We're all under contract. We have to press forward. You know, we're dealt a certain hand in life, and whatever that hand is, you have to play it. This is the hand that I've been dealt to lead this program. When I woke up yesterday morning, I had no idea I was going to be the interim head coach of Penn State University. Today, I'm super proud to be that, and I will lead this program to the best of my ability, and we're going to get it back on track.
Let's go over here on the right, Audrey, and then we're going to go to Jake over here on the left.
Hey, Terry. Can you kind of talk us through, obviously there's a learning curve with Jim's defense that these guys are working through as this now kind of falls on your plate too. Are there things that you think you can do to simplify maybe this defense the rest of the way to get these guys playing faster and more aggressive, which is what James had told us had been an issue.
Yeah, on the defensive side, the biggest thing for us is we've got to get our defensive line to be in sync. Everything starts up front. So the true things that we have to fix this week is the offensive line, defensive line. And not that they're problems, but they got to be able to control the line of scrimmage. You control the line of scrimmage, you control the game. And those are the two things that we're focusing on this week. And it goes back to part of my original statement of toughness. We got to be tougher up front, and that sets the tone for what everyone else does.
Over here on the left, Jake.
Yeah, Terry, you guys were a 2-point conversion away from maybe being the #1 team in the country 3 weeks ago. How do you explain what's happened these last 3 games? And then do you have an update on Drew, his injury, his recovery outlook?
Yeah, we were, like you said, a 2-point conversion away from beating a top team. I don't really have an explanation. You know, losses. When we look back at last season, there were so many close games that the ball bounced our way. Right? We go to USC and we're down 20-7 and the ball bounces our way. We go to Wisconsin and the ball bounces. We go to Minnesota, the ball bounces our way. This year the ball's not bouncing our way, so we have to persevere and press forward and keep grinding to be better. And as for Drew, I don't have any other updates other than he's out for the year.
Back left corner, Allie.
Hey, Terry, how are you? You talk about Penn State with so much love, and you always have, and we've seen this program overcome some incredible odds. To look at where you are today and trying to bring everyone back together, what do you think is most important for people to know about why you love Penn State so much and why they should love Penn State?
Yeah, Penn State's done so much for me and my family. Like I said, my dad, he graduated in '68. He set a tone for us. He moved us out of small town Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, and showed us a better life through his education here. And, when I graduated in '91 and now I'm supporting and taking care of my family, it's because of Penn State and all the lessons that I've learned here. And, I just want to give back to this community what it's always given to me and my family. And that means everything to me. I don't see working here as a job. I love waking up every morning and showing up for work and trying to make us better.
In the back over here, Tyler.
Terry, thanks for your time. Wanted to ask you about your new starting quarterback, Ethan Grunkemeyer. What can you tell us about how he's responded since Saturday evening, and what have you learned about him thus far during the season that maybe we haven't, and to lend you confidence moving forward?
Yeah, we have every bit of confidence in Ethan. He's got a strong arm. He's athletic, super smart kid. We're entrusting him. He's been thrown in there just like I've been thrown in there, so we got something in common. And, he's going to be ready. We're going to rep him all week and drill him all week and put him in class on grass. And, we're very confident we're going to have a game plan for him that fits him. Super excited to see him go out there Saturday night.
Over here, back left, Bethany.
Hey, Coach, thank you for your time. You inherit a 500 team, especially after the expectations coming into this season, maybe a fan base that's divided. You mentioned the temperament in the locker room. I'm curious, when this season is all said and done, what you would define as a successful second half to this season and how you hope to achieve it.
Success is the team pulling the rope the same direction. It's when you watch us play, you guys will come in here and your questions won't be effort. Your questions won't be they look lethargic. If we lose, it's going to be because that team beat us and they were just better. We won't answer questions about how we lost the last 3 games. There's not one of those teams that we could arguably say was better than us, including Oregon. So I promise we're going to put a better product on the field that every Penn Stater is going to be super proud of.
In the front, Greg. Get him a mic.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Two personnel questions for you. A.J. Harris only played 18 snaps. I believe the last one was after the touchdown over his head. So was he taken out of the game? Was he injured? And is there anything you can share with us about Cooper Cousins after he was out last Saturday?
Yeah, A.J., unfortunately for him, he was put in a position and, got beat on the touchdown. And, we made a decision at that time to just play some other guys. AC, Davian Collins, and our other corner, Elliott Washington. Those guys have rotated all year, and we just felt like we had a better chance to have success with those guys. As far as Cooper Cousins, he's a week-to-week process, and, we'll get to practice tomorrow and kind of figure out where he's at, and, hopefully he'll be ready.
Way in the back, T. Frank.
Terry, right here. You've mentioned a couple times whether it's swag, having fun, grit, determination, some of those things that you said that you want to get back for this program. What do you think led to losing them in the first place?
There's a number of reasons. We're in a new era of football, and like Pat said, you have to navigate everything about it. NIL, there's money, the locker room of bringing 125 guys together as a team, bringing individuals like a hand and making them collective. That's my job now. And I've got to bring everyone together to see the benefits of how we can all succeed as one. And it's not going to be easy because these guys love Coach Franklin. And some of them are torn up. And we got to rally the troops and become one.
We got time for two more questions. Let's go over here on the right to Max.
Hey, Terry. Appreciate the time. When we have in-season coach firings in today's era, sometimes it's a commonplace to see some players decide to redshirt, sit out the season. 6 games in, you don't have to deal with that quite as much, but by my count, you have 31 players who are in that situation. How do you address that dynamic within the team?
Well, I'm glad to know it's 31 in that, so now I have something to look forward to. That's another dynamic that I have to manage now. I've talked to a few players personally today. It's my message to all of them is you signed up to play football. We love the game of football. And let's keep the main thing the main thing. You only earn opportunity through production on the field. And if you're not productive on the field, doesn't matter where you go, want to sit out. Who wants you next? You're not going to make the money you think you're supposed to. You're not going to be drafted where you think you're supposed to be drafted. So my message is we have an opportunity to come together, win the season, shock the world, and we all can have success together.
Last question over here on the right, Daniel.
Terry, thanks for your time this afternoon. Along those lines, when you talk about message, what have the conversations been like with some of these recruits? What's your message to them and their families as they are trying to make a decision for them, given what's going on here?
Yeah, it's a twofold question because you got your 26 class, then your 27 class, which is a whole year and a half out, right? Those guys are going to be directly impacted by the final decision of who the head coach will be. Our message is, remember all the reasons you chose Penn State. This is still a great university, offers a first-class education. It's going to be first-class football. We play in the Big Ten at the highest level. No matter who the next head coach is, Pat and Vinny and the administration are going to bring an outstanding candidate here. So, it was always the message that we would give these recruits in the past about assistant coaches, right? There's always going to be a great leader here at Penn State University. And that standard is the standard, as Pat said. And whoever the next head coach will be will uphold that standard, and they'll be in good hands.
Thank you very much, Terry.